The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, season 21, episode number 39. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We're live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, and we are presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. All right, today we start turning the page. We get you guys ready for Cowboys versus Bears. That's happening this Sunday. I think it's a 3:30.
3:25.
3:25 kick. Thank you, Bryan.
Yep.
This Sunday in Chicago. We're going to get into the Chicago Bears offense versus the Dallas defense today. Tell you about some of the things that you should be expecting to see and some things that the Cowboys will need to do in order to perform well defensively. Hopefully have a better performance defensively than what we saw against the Giants and hopefully bring home another win. Let's start first, though, with KaVontae Turpin on the injury front. At this point, it's sounding like there's a possibility he can play. What are you hearing? I know, Bryan, you talk to folks around here. What are you hearing as far as his injury and the likelihood of him being available this week?
Yeah, they're just going to see how things go this week, though, and then they'll have a better understanding, because today being the first practice, we'll see. Probably be limited in a lot of things that he's going to do, but it's really going to be about timing. It's going to be about rest. It's going to be how he's able to kind of manage some things along the way. So as you get to when we maybe talk about the Fridays, and we just got to see where the designations are every day, but it's a little bit of just trying to kind of get through the first couple of days and then see where he's at for game day. If there's improvement, then you'll probably see him playing. If not, then you'll probably see him being inactive this week. Of course, that seems pretty logical the way it is, but it really is about timing and about rest right now.
Bryan, Derek, AG, would you guys say that Turpin's game last week, showing some things from a wide receiver standpoint, 4 catches, 40-something yards, touchdown, would you say that this is not a great time for him to be hurt or not playing because the competition with him and Tolbert is kind of ramping up a little bit? If you look at the depth chart, Bryan, I haven't seen this before on the depth chart, but it's always Tolbert or Turpin. I haven't seen Orr before, right? But I guess both those guys are like close competing. So when Turpin makes this move forward, hopefully him not being out so long drops him down in that, wide receiver situation competition going on, Bryan Bros. Then Mingo's coming back. What does that look like from a wide receiver standpoint versus?
I forgot about Mingo, my guy Mingo.
Mingo's coming back.
Oh man,
Honestly, I don't look at it. I don't look at those two as a competition because they're so vastly different. They provide different things for your offense. So I look at them as different types of players that they will use in different types of situations. The way they use KaVontae Turpin is more as and Bryan, you'll remember this, those slash days of Cordell Stewart in Pittsburgh, right? He's more of that kind of player. They're going to line him up in the backfield. They'll line him up in the slot. They'll do a lot of different things. They'll run him. They'll throw passes to him. They'll do a lot of different things with him. He's a gadget player. I don't think of Tolbert in that way. I don't think that's what they designed for Tolbert. So to me, it's not really a competition. It's more about, what do they need in a specific matchup with a team and where they think they can get the best matchups, and they'll use those guys in that way.
Why I think that's important, you're not wrong. But if I'm looking for Tolbert to give me something, I'm going to look for 88 to give me that. Turpin gives me something that those other guys don't give me.
Yep, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm looking like, oh, man, he got CD covered up. Where now? And Tolbert's single covered, and he's not beating that single coverage. I feel like Turpin could do something different than what those other guys do.
I worried in the game the other day when Turpin went out and all of a sudden you needed punt returns and you needed a kick return, and you're thinking like, gosh dang, there's 20 some odd seconds left. How nice would it be to have? And maybe the Giants just kicked the thing out of the end zone. They tried to kick the ball. If you notice the wave from Turpin, the first ball went down the field and they kicked it at Tolbert. They got two guys back there, and and then he's bringing it back to but that's where I was. He's capable of making plays down the field. We saw it a little bit last year, and people are like, well, he's shorter. You can't throw him the ball down the field. No, that's not true. You could throw him the ball. We're down in the red zone. You think a little guy in the red zone would be a problem? No, he first touchdown, Dak, ripped it down the middle of the field, and there's, Turpin to catch the ball. Yeah, there's clearly a difference the two. I just feel like, to me, you're losing a dynamic player. I mean, when we could talk about Lamb and Pickens and those guys, but me personally, I throw Turpin right in there. I was really nervous about punt returns and kick returns in that game once he went out, because I lost my element of being able to attack the Giants and potentially gain field position that way.
So let me extend this question. I'll go to you first on this one, AG. If that's the case, and I think we all agree he is a dynamic returner, probably the best, if not one of the best in the National Football League, and does so much to change games from that standpoint, should the Cowboys, and this is a tough ask, but should the Cowboys consider maybe using him a little less on offense? We know he's slight, and we know that the more hits you take, the more hits you take in the NFL, the more likelihood there is that you end up injured. Should they look at maybe lessening what they're doing with him, maybe even some of the running where they're just literally lining him up to run? Should they change some of that in order to make sure he's available for those other things?
Yeah, I know you're going to go for it, AG. I mean, you just triggered me on something, but go for it, AG.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it next.
No, by the way, I know how you feel about. I know how Brian feels about this. We've had this conversation.
I won't
before.
jump in. Go ahead.
I mean, I like the argument.
Yeah.
That's a good logic behind it, but at the same time, he brings just such a different game to the offense, and it's not like they're super extra utilizing him. They're using him in certain occasions, and I think that once you watch what he can do, it's so hard for you to be like, let's not use him. But I get it. When you talk about special teams plays, yes, he's a crucial player, and we've seen the kind of play-changing games that are plays. Oh my God, I don't know.
Play-changing plays.
Game-changing plays.
Game-changing
There you go. Game-changing plays that he makes. But last year, we've talked about it. Oh, the Cowboys should involve Turpin a lot more. And I feel like this year, with the changing staff, we're starting to see some of that and him being involved more. Now, here comes that injury. And when did that happen? Was there a certain play
I haven't
moment
heard when it
that
actually happened. Yeah, I'm not sure when it happened.
Because I'm curious to see, was that like while he was on offense, or was it when he was playing on special teams?
He did take a nice hit on one of those kick returns.
The kick returns, yeah.
So maybe that was there. And injuries, you can't really prevent those. They're bound to happen at some point. So you can't really not play a player because of the thought that he might get injured. You have to play him. So I am play the guy because he brings a unique set of skills that to the offense, and his speed. He has that speed that not many guys on offense have. And the way that he started off training camp, he has been super consistent in the way that he has been playing. So that's the main reason why I wouldn't take away from what Tolbert might bring into the game while he's out.
This is going to sound really simple. How about the guys that he's battling with play better? You have no choice. He's one of your better players. Go play.
That's my point.
I mean, if Tolbert, Mingo, whoever, Flanoy, whoever, if you really want to take Turpin off the field, how about the guys around him play a little bit better and do some of the roles and take some of the roles away?
Can I add another name to that?
Go ahead.
Jadon Blue. If Jadon Blue was available for you, now you got a bursty, quick running, fast guy.
Yeah,
Turpin's
that's it. To me, it's pretty simple, and I think everybody's made really, really good points about the player. But to me, it's more about, can I afford to take him off the field? I got nobody else making plays like this guy, so I have no choice. I got to play him. If somebody else steps up, I'd be happy to cut the reps for him. If somebody's giving me the same thing that he's given me.
All right. I think, it sounds like they may have him back this week, and maybe you avoided,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe you avoided a long-term injury for him. But I think that does bear watching as the season goes on with this increased role, which, by the way, we all agree you need to do it because he's such a dynamic player. But the question still will always remain, can he stay healthy at this size with doing so much more on an NFL field?
Yeah, because
it is a game of injuries.
He's not small and bulky, like
Right.
muscly.
Like
He's
Deuce, yeah.
right, like that. He
bitty.
can't really absorb
Little bitty.
those
That little
hits.
bitty.
Yeah,
There's a difference.
Yeah, he's thin.
Sure is fast.
Yeah, he can run. All right, let's talk about real quick. I want to talk real quick. This is a housekeeping thing, talking about the center position. Obviously, they're going to go into this game with Brock Hoffman. He will be presumably the starter for the next 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it is. That Cooper Beebe is out. The Cowboys did sign a center to the practice squad in Wesley French. My question, though, is heading into this game and for the next few weeks, who do you suspect is the backup to Hoffman in the event he gets hurt during a game?
CJ Bass.
Oh, Bass. Okay,
Bass. Yeah, it's gonna be Bass.
Oh, Shipley. Okay, yeah.
Who did you think it was?
Shipley. Is he here still?
I believe on the practice squad. I mean, I need to do a better job of practice squad players.
When we get into the 70s player range, I kind of lose it too. So
I do.
It gets a little hazy down there.
But no, I feel like that TJ Bass might be this guy. Probably. Might be the guy that because he played some in the during training camp, and then he also got some work during. Remember that he and Hoffman were basically playing all 3 preseason games. They were playing the whole game. And then Bass was getting some work at center. Hoffman would play guard. My gut feeling is that it would be Bass would be the center if you got down to that point.
All right. Real quick, before we go into breaking down the Chicago offense versus the Dallas defense, I'm going to have a few questions for you guys. I'm going to do this every week just to give people a general idea of the team that we're going to play. I'm going to call this segment Inside Ops. And here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to tell me this first question about the Bears. Which game is more of a realistic picture of who they are? They lose close. They lose close game to Minnesota 27-24. Or they get beat down by Detroit 52-21.
I think the common theme that you saw in both those games is that they're really good early and then they kind of fade late. So I think both games kind of make a little sense to you. The Vikings offense hasn't been, great besides the handful of touchdowns that they've thrown. And we just think of the Lions as a better team. So I would say that both those games kind of show you who the Bears are. They're going to compete for a quarter and a half, and a great team will beat the hell out of them later, and a good team can fight to the end and kind of beat them later. So
yeah, I think they're more probably, but the Lions present a unique challenge for a lot of teams just because of their offensive line, the skilled players they have, the ability to run the football. And there was kind of a grudge match game too, by the way.
Yeah,
if you look at Ben Johnson and and it kind of goes back to the Cowboys playing like the Eagles. You had the whole offseason to prepare for game one. Once you knew the schedule, you kind of threw everything you had into that game. The thing when we get into the Bears offense, there's problems that they had in week one that they still have in week two. That's the thing I think that when we get into it, you'll have a better understanding of what kind of team they really, really are.
I mean, looking at both weeks, and 52 points, that's a lot to give up against a team. But at the same time, after the Giants experience, don't underestimate any other team in the NFL. Voch. But I'm kidding.
He's not going to stop.
Well,
you're asking. You're asking.
Oh man! But based on
Bryan
this is a team that's they're gonna show up and put up a fight. They're gonna go out there and try to compete with what they have. So again, don't underestimate them. And I think this is a game where the Cowboys need to, regardless of what these guys are about to present here in their analysis, they still need to highly prepare to go up against that team.
Now, as we all know, head coach Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for the Lions last year when they came to Dallas and beat Dallas in Arlington 47-9.
Trying to throw balls to the tackles. And stuff
right.
like that in that game.
So and I know we're going to get into some of the details of the offense, but just as a big picture, how would you characterize his offense?
I think they're still trying to figure things out now. Like Ben Johnson and the Lions that we played last year was like they're 4 years into the offense. They got it, down. I think Ben and Caleb are still trying to figure out how to, work together with each other. They got some great wide receivers, and it seems like the quarterback's only good with one of them. So I mean, they're a team that's going to try to get on the ball fast, get rid of the ball quickly, and Caleb can make throws downfield if he processes well and it comes out. If they're on schedule, they're good to go. But it's when they're not on schedule, and Caleb Williams finds himself not on schedule all the time. So it's kind of weird to see where they are, but that's just what I got from them so far.
They play behind the sticks a ton. They're one of the most penalized teams in the National Football League when it comes to offensive penalties. So only I think them and the Patriots are the ones that, man, they get into a lot of third and long situations. But what makes them very, very dangerous, and we'll get into this, is their quarterback has the ability to make nothing or make something out of nothing. There are a lot of times where there's pressure and he's running. This is going to be a very dangerous game from the aspect of him throwing the ball off platform and him running with the football. If you don't play disciplined defense against this guy, this could be a really, really difficult time to have to. I think he's made this quarterback better. If you ask about the offense,
Sure.
What's interesting to me is they haven't got DJ Moore going into this games like they have in the past. Roman Dunze has been a nice receiver for them. They've got the 2 tight ends. They're going to get in 12 personnel. I think he's tried to bring a little bit of an element of some toughness to it. Their offensive line has let him down, but I think he's made the quarterback better if you just look at overall metrics of the way the guy's played so far.
You mentioned the penalties, and what I find interesting is, like, at least these first 2 weeks, I mean, we've seen a ton of penalties in the first 2 games, but with the Cowboys, I think overall, in general, they've been more disciplined when it comes to getting penalties and penalized. So it has allowed them to work in their favor and them getting some of that in their benefit. So maybe this is a week where we can see some more of those and the Cowboys can actually benefit from that.
No doubt. Let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Chicago offense versus the Dallas defense with some specifics on what you guys can expect to see this weekend. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
I'm home. Hey, Mom. Before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service. Guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here. As the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, you know I take cookware seriously, especially when it comes to America's team. So when the Cowboys are away, I'm putting my Yeti cast iron skillets to work to make my game day favorites for friends and family. I'm talking chicken fried steak, skillet queso, and peach cobbler. And just like the Cowboys are forever, so are these heirloom cast iron skillets. Check out the full line of skillets on Yeti.com or at a Yeti store near you.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Don't put off getting your oil change, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. We're in the second segment of the break live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star segment brought to you by blockchain.com. All right, Brian,
Yes,
Voch,
sir.
give me some breakdowns here. What do we got?
You want to start? When we start this thing?
This should be my
All right. You're just getting an old guy. Let the old guy start.
Hey, man,
right? That's what you're doing
Age
today.
before beauty is what they say.
Age before beauty. Let's go for it, man. Let's go for it here. Okay. This game is going to hinge on a couple of things for you offensively for the Chicago Bears. where I see problems, potential problems for the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to get a ton of 12 personnel stuff. You got to figure out how to deal with the tight ends. The tight ends really haven't been used, though, in a way that you felt like a Ben Johnson offense would do it. Throwing to him, getting him really involved. That could change this week. You just got to, with Dallas and having to play coverage, can they do it? Can they match up against these tight ends? I feel like that they've got some really good tight ends, but I tell you where to me my biggest concern is Caleb Williams' ability to throw off platform and then to run if pressured. Mm-hmm. And Voch is going to tell you about this Bears offensive line. He's going to tell you these tackles are going to struggle. There's specifically one tackle is going to struggle. But this is very similar, to what you were kind of dealing with last week with the Giants. You have a couple of struggling offensive linemen. Do you take advantage of that? Can you get the passers? Can you affect the pocket? But this quarterback's ability to run is going to be a problem. And when he drops back and he will hold the ball. And so what that means is in the secondary, you can't let coverage go. If guys, and they run a lot of deep routes and they try and get the ball down the field, they've had some success throwing to some open receivers when they've been able to get those routes down the field. But you've got to stay with your guys this week, especially throwing the ball. I don't think they're going to be great throwing or running the ball with Swift, but I think the way they're going to try and attack Dallas is they're going to think, hey, we can protect. We saw the Giants protect, and we're going to sit here and see if you can cover routes down the field, the crossing routes, the vertical routes. These are all things the Bears that they do. And so the Cowboys have got to be ready for that. You have to, like I say, you cannot let guys go in the secondary because this quarterback will find them. He'll make some outstanding throws. He'll miss some throws. But, man, this running aspect of it scares me to death because if you look just when he's taken off, say 9 times, he's converted 6 first downs. Just think about that. All of a sudden, you're running around back there. You got guys covered. And we saw it in week 1 with Hurts. Lack of discipline. Don't play the edge. Don't set the edge. Don't have a guy there available. We didn't, not really sure that they're going to spy anybody here, in this game because we didn't really see it against Hurts. Maybe it's something that we see differently here. But, man, this guy's ability to run and to throw off platform could be a problem for your football team.
So, Bryan, let me ask you this. Because you have the golden phone there.
Yep.
And Flus is a good friend of yours.
Mm-hmm. I was until I started talking bad about his defense.
It's all right. You wasn't wrong.
Now he's not answering your call?
No, he's not answering my call.
I don't have his number, Bryan. But when you asked him about quarterback running, he didn't get back to you, right?
No,
Bryan?
did not.
Caleb Williams is a guy that is going to run the ball closer to what Hurts did.
Absolutely.
Than what we saw from Russell Wilson in like week 1. Now, Russ didn't run against us because he could throw the ball all over the place. Right. I think Caleb, what he's going to – and it's interesting, Bryan, because you would say that arm talent-wise, Caleb got a little more than Russ.
Absolutely.
And as far as athleticism, he runs faster than Hurts. Like I would say he's a more dynamic runner than Hurts. Hurts is a big muscle that's hard to tackle.
Right.
Williams can run away from you. I think it's going to come down to diagnosing defense, Bryan Broaddus. Now, I don't know if Flus wants to go out there and run zone 59 out of 59 times again, but I do think that Williams is a guy that can get confused and kind of tripped up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, Bryan, are you going to spy him? Because when he does get a little lost, his eyes go down, just like Hurts. Yeah. And when his eyes go down, one of 2 things happen. He's going to run around and try to find somebody down the field. Yep. He can really hit you doing that.
Right.
Or he's just going to run upfield and get some rushing yards for you. You can't win this game if Caleb Williams has 70 rushing yards, 80 rushing yards, because he can really beat you down on like first downs, right? Mm-hmm. Getting to the first down, making these drives real long, getting your defense real tired. I think that's somewhere that can really beat the Cowboys down. So if I'm Bryan Broaddus, I'm talking to Flus, I'm telling Flus, hey man, these people are gonna run right at Sam. They learned over the past 2 weeks Sanborn can't run with a running quarterback. They might run right at him, and it's the fastest quarterback they got. So if I'm, Ben Johnson or something, I'm designing runs for Caleb Williams because the Cowboys haven't shown me that they can deal with quarterback run.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing about the discipline of the edge too is another thing. That we just all of a sudden it's Fowler, it's Ezraku, it's Sam Williams. These guys are crashing down inside, spinning inside, and then there's nothing on the outside. I mean, Caleb Williams has shown, and the metrics will tell you this too. He's about a 61% passer against zone coverage, but he's a 68% passer against cover 2. So the split safeties. The two best things that he does throwing the football is against stuff that you go into, and that's your game plan. It's cover 2, it's zone coverage, it's all these things. You're kind of, I wonder if Flus is going to get out of his comfort level. And to me, this is a real good opportunity to take Donovan Wilson and put him down there in the box and let him deal with Kmet and the tight ends, Loveland and those guys. I mean, they haven't shown that they're willing to throw the ball to these guys a bunch, but these guys are capable of making those types of plays.
Brian Broaddus, my name is Ben Johnson, Ben Voch Lombardi Johnson. And I see the Cowboys, I'm just watching news, I see the Cowboys went to go sign Clowney.
Right.
Do I think that Clowney is going to be one of the first guys out there? How are the Cowboys gonna use their rush ends? Who's going to be the first guy out there? Because based on
I'm the worst person to ask this question too, because every rush end I've talked about, I've been wrong about.
Based on the film I've been seeing, Brian, the ends like to run up field. They don't like
that's
they don't
the deal.
like
How disciplined are you going to play? Yeah,
sure.
See, that's the thing about it is when you kind of feel like, oh, this could be a really good game for Fowler. Oh, this could be, I know last week we were talking about Marshawn Nealon. Oh, here's a guy that plays the run really well. Here's a guy that's disciplined. He can play the left side, right side. Maybe one of the worst games he's played.
Yeah.
They have yet to find a defensive end. The one play that they made last week was the difference in the game, in my opinion. The Sam Williams rush, the pressure, forced the interception. They need to get more of those types of plays. They need to get more pressures. Again, we're going to get into this offensive line. I'm going to let you talk about these offensive linemen, and what you kind of think. Because to me, there are going to be some opportunities. They gave up pressures. They give up sacks. They're pretty good inside, but on the tackles, they're a little bit of a weaker unit.
Yeah.
But the quarterback's ability to run and to escape that, and can Dallas hold up? The one thing, if you're going to continue to pass guys off, pass them off to guys that are covering. Don't just pass them off to space and allow Caleb Williams to have a free shot down the field, throwing the football to a guy that's in the middle of the field. That's the thing I worry about. Is Flus going to get out of some things that he's completely comfortable with? Is he going to be stubborn, or is he going to adjust, much like the couple of guys that we've seen the coordinators here before? Dan Quinn adjusted, Mike Zimmer adjusted, will Matt Eberflus adjust? I think that's going to be key in this game.
Can I throw in this question too, Brian? Obviously you've been around football for a very long time, and there's kind of these two schools of thought. There's the one school of thought is you get really good at something and you can do it every single week and it doesn't matter. You're so good and so adept at doing it, it doesn't matter. Right. There's another school of thought that says being multiple is the answer because it always throws the opponent off. They don't know what to expect. In this instance, the Cowboys have been very, very, very consistent with the fact that they are going to run zone through the first 2 games of the season. They haven't shown propensity yet to be really good at it, though. Do you think this is a situation where the Cowboys should stick to let's keep doing it because that'll get our guys more comfortable, and we think over time they will be capable of being able to do this and will be really good at it? Or do you think they have to mix it up from the standpoint, again, specifically this week where you're playing a younger quarterback, give him something different? Because when you go into a week, my assumption is as you're preparing for a game, if you know exactly what the other team is going to do, it probably makes it a little easier to prepare. That being said, do you think this is a week that they need to mix it up in order to make sure that they just throw him off and give him something different than maybe what they've shown the first 2 games?
Kind of feel like they need to mix some things up. I just, you watch the tape, you watch some of the struggles, you watch what he does against zone, you watch what he does against 2 deep, you watch the struggles that he's had against single high safety. You watch these things. I mean, he is not as good as a passer against single high. Well, Matt Eberflus showed he played a little bit of cover 3 in the game last week, but they gave up some big plays. But they gave up some big plays because Hooker wasn't the single high safety. It was Donovan Wilson, and they gave up a couple of big shots down the field. But yeah, I'm just not going to sit there and just bang my head against the wall and say, oh, this is who we are. I think you have to be able to get in and out of some coverage. I think you got to get in and out of some fronts. I think you got to get in and out of like twist stunts and some blitzes. And, if you, to me, they got in a situation last week where they're playing the cover 2, where they're playing the old Tampa 2, the Monty Kiffin, Rod Marinelli, where they think, they have a Mike linebacker in Sanborn that could cover the deep middle of the field. That's not Sanborn's fault. That's that's kind of not knowing that he can do that. That's thinking that he can. Maybe he saw him do it at Chicago last year and he thought, okay, but he tried it also though with Murray as well. And so that ended up being a big play. They had 2 times. So all of a sudden you're doing things and you come back to it and you think, oh no, this is what we do. This is our game plan. But you give up back-to-back huge plays doing it. You got to be a little bit more you can't be as rigid and like when things aren't going great, you got to be able to mix that thing up a little bit. And if you go in there and just say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Obviously the Giants felt like that, hell, if you're going to play a zone coverage 100% of the time, we're just going to run vertical routes and see if you can cover it. Dallas proved they couldn't cover that. Dallas gets in the zone. I wouldn't be surprised. Rome Odunze has become a weapon down the field. They're throwing the ball better down the field. They're throwing the deep ball better down the field in Chicago than they did last year. These are all things that you can see.
Let me ask you guys this. Based on the results or lack of, what would you give it, if you had to give a percentage, what percentage would you give to scheme and then player execution?
I think player is huge right now because Clark is making everything easy for everybody.
Yeah.
And the 3-tech is playing better.
The run defense is better because of Clark.
Is much better.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's worth thinking about.
And Solomon Thomas too.
And Solomon Thomas.
Yeah.
That's worth thinking about because it could be scheme. We don't know what it looks like to not have Clark here.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be both. But percentage wise, I would say it's just 75 maybe because your D tackle group is so much better than we thought it was going to be.
Can I throw this in? I do think that it's kind of a mix and it depends on what you're talking about, right? Okay. Because I look at the linebackers, I look at Donovan Wilson, and I think this is a question of are they fits for what you're asking them to do? On the flip side of that, I look at some of the big plays they gave up last week, and in a couple, it was probably 3 different plays I saw. They were big plays for New York. I think 2 of them were touchdowns. But Cowboys were in cover 3. There was 3-by-1, which means you got 3 receivers on one side, 1 on the other. On the side where you have the 1 receiver, that cornerback essentially, because he's in cover 3, you got to carry that guy all the way down the field. Mm-hmm. And in 3 instances, they hit big plays because that corner couldn't carry that guy all the way down the field. That, to me, that's what you're paid to do as a cornerback.
Right.
Like, that's not about scheme. That's like, you got this guy. If he goes on a vertical route, you got to hold him. You got to be able to cover him. And they didn't do it. So in those instances, I look at it and I say, that ain't about scheme. That's about player. So I think it really is about, like, who is the player and what was the situation. Some of the times I think they put their players in bad positions because it's maybe not something they're capable of doing. In other instances, they should be capable of doing it and they just didn't do it.
Hey, God bless Donovan Wilson for getting the interception.
Right.
It was a poorly thrown ball. I mean, he was over there. I think if Russell Wilson would have had time, that ball would have been to the sidelines and it would probably been another big play. But you're not wrong about. But to me, as a coach and a coaching staff, you got to know your personnel. You've got to know, and maybe now they know. Maybe they know now. If we get into the Bears game and all of a sudden we see Donovan Wilson playing as a single high safety, they didn't learn a lesson. That's a stubborn staff that is just saying, no, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do to get better. No, to me, it's like, listen, we made a mistake. It's like Chaz Green. Jason Garrett stood there afterwards and said, we made a mistake. Yeah. We should have had a better answer and a better plan for Chaz Green. Should have had it. We went through the 7 sacks, but we got better because we did something different or we took him out. I'm not saying take Donovan Wilson out. I'm just saying play Donovan Wilson in the spot. He had 5 sacks last year. Mm-hmm. Donovan Wilson down around the line of scrimmage. That tells you right there. You want him near the ball. You don't want him deep. And two, if you're going to allow these receivers to have free runs at you, and you're not quick twitch turn guys and run, Derek, you talk about carrying routes. If you're the guy on that side, how about a little press? How about a jam? And how about run with and try and hold things up? But you give these receivers 8-yard runs at these corners, nobody's going to cover them.
Yeah, because these guys are really fast on top of it.
Yeah, you're dealing with elite neighbors, and you're going to give him an 8-yard run on Diggs, and Diggs is going to say, Neighbors made a hell of a play. That one, he went back and caught the ball. I mean, that's just a great player right there.
Well, clearly things need to improve for the defense, on the defense, but what is the right thing to do as a new coach coming into a team that you already have part of, like, you didn't get a choice to select a bunch of your players. So at that point, do you continue to try to pressure and make them fit into what you're trying to do?
I'm going to hold you guys.
Or
so that's the problem.
do you adjust yourself?
That's a great question.
Damn.
We're going to take our break. We're going to come back, and you're going to give that great answer that you got that's just sitting on the tip of your tongue, all right?
I'm going to forget it by the time we get back.
Write it down. Write it down. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Oh, man.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
We're with you. We're united.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back to the final segment of the break. Clap and SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Let me just say, I am really enjoying this version of the break. It is a lot of fun.
Tell them why, Derek. Go ahead.
We just have some fun. Like the stories we tell, we have some fun, man. Just say there's a lot of smiles going around this studio. Yeah. I love this iteration of the break. All right. So before the break, Amber had a question. And Voch, he was about to kill himself to get his answer.
Say it again. Ask again.
Okay, as a new coach with this staff, this personnel that you're handed down to, what is the right thing to do? Do you continue to try to fit these players, use these players to fit what you're trying to implement here? Or do you then start changing up your train of thought and your plan to make it where it fits those players specifically?
That's a fantastic way you worded it, is what's the right thing to do. And Voch says this: the right thing to do is do what damn been working. You know, you can put Donovan Wilson at one high and it not work, or you can blitz Donovan Wilson and you have evidence of that working. Do that.
Yeah.
Do some more of that. You know, it was the Eagles game. You rush 4, you drop everybody else back. It ain't really necessarily work. Hey, if you just happen to bring one extra character, just one more, it could be this linebacker, that safety, Diggs, Bland, whoever. You just got so much more success than when you didn't. So what's the right thing to do, Ambar Garcia, is do what works. Like, it's not like Flus hasn't made changes at all.
Yeah.
It's just that he'll go, okay, well, 45 out of 48 plays, they'll do something different. Them 3 plays look real good when you're doing plays. So just think about them 3
Played
plays.
cover 6, and they only completed 1 pass for like negative yards. I think it was something different they did. I'm just reminded that when I worked for the Cowboys way back in the day, you know, in the personnel side of things, and Bill Parcells told Mike Zimmer, he says, Mike, I'm going to let you call this your 4-3 defense that you've been used to. I'm going to let you call this for another year. But we're going to get personnel in here, and you're going to learn how to call 3-4 defense. And what did Mike Zimmer do? He learned how to call 3-4 defense next year, and you had a top 10 defense. We were a terrible football team, but the defense was good because of the way Mike Zimmer took it as a challenge. You know, Dan Quinn came in here. Dan Quinn has his beliefs, the Legion of Boom, all that stuff, blah, 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 all that thing. He realized he had pass rushers. He realized he had man cover guys. What did he do? He adjusted, kind of made his defense look a little bit different. You know, Mike Zimmer last year, Mike Zimmer getting his rear kicked right off the jump. Mike came in and said, hey, I tried to do what they were doing pretty well. It didn't work. Should have done more what I was doing. Started doing that. What happened? They started playing better defense. You know, coaches, Matt will adjust. If Matt gets in there all of a sudden again, and we're coming back on Monday morning and talking about a Cowboy game that was crazy, you know, defense not getting things done, and we say all of a sudden it was all zone, and we came in here and told you guys and gals that, hey, this guy against zone coverage has this percentage, but against single high he's this percentage, you know, and he struggles, then, you know, shame on Matt Eberflus for doing that. I want to believe that they'll adjust here. I don't want to believe that they're going to continue to put guys like Donovan Wilson in single high or cover 2 situations where you can't function well.
If we go into this game, Bryan, I'm just going to get back to this breakdown for 2 seconds. That's cool?
Sure.
If we go into this game, let's say you get past the first quarter and Flus is...
By the way, the Bears will probably be up on you 7-0 when this thing starts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because the Bears...
That first 15 is pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
that last 2 games, they've been up 7-0. Yeah.
Bryan, let's say that Flus rushes 4, drops everybody back. Let's say he does that for like a quarter, and he's getting no pressure on Williams or anything like that. How do you feel at that point? Like, do you go, man, do we... You know what I'm saying? Like, how many more games does it take? Because I'm, you know, just watching the film. Amber, I'm about to talk bad about the Bears. The left tackle Braxton Jones.
Yeah,
you can go and
after
get him.
Yeah,
the guys in the middle solid. Tooney, Jackson, and Dahlman lives good amongst them.
Yeah,
but Darnell right on the right side, you can get him.
Slow-footed sometimes.
But other teams have success going to go get Braxton Jones.
As they do,
and this will be the game Braxton Jones.
2 sacks and pressures. Yeah.
But if you don't see the Cowboys attacking Braxton Jones, what do we tell Shotty at this point? Shotty, do you need to be like Parcells and go tell him that we need to do something?
Yeah, I think that, to me, this is...
But what is that something? Like, going back to what you were trying to ask, how many games until you do what exactly?
How many games until you make the adjustment and go, maybe the pass rush as is not enough. Rushing 4 as is not enough. Maybe if you had 11, you can rush 4, but you don't. You got 13, whatever number Clowney wearing, because it's going to be something weird.
But is that adjustment, what does that adjustment mean? Are you trying to say bringing some more help from the outside? Or are you trying to say, hey, this is what we're going to tell you, Eberflus, what to do with the game plan now?
If Voch's last name is Flus, take Donovan from way up there and put him closer to where your edges and linebackers are and let him be pressure guy for you. Reddy Stewart, when he was down there blitzing, getting sacks or whatever, make that part of the game. Kenneth Murray is a fantastic downhill rush type of guy. Mm-hmm. There was conversation about Leofold pass rush. Overshawn to come back at some point and we'll talk about him. But you've got to do something. And it ain't even got to be difficult. It ain't even got to be difficult. Versus the Eagles, hey, just blitz Sanborn and see what happens.
Yeah.
And a quarterback that doesn't process well will drop his eyes. Yeah. Sanborn didn't even get there, Bryan. We broke down the film. The pocket was still beautiful, but the idea of
the extra guy,
this person I didn't think was coming is coming now. It at least speeds the clock up. And versus young quarterback, changes like that matter.
And they did that even more. Like, they sent corners in that game against Philadelphia. They didn't do that this last game. Like, there there were things they did in the first game that seemed like they were trying to manufacture pressure a little bit more than they did even in the second game, where you would think they probably needed to do a little bit more to get pressure.
Here's your hope this week too, that Matt Eberflus spent a year with that kid, that he knows what the good and bad about him is.
Facts.
That he says, listen, I've seen him in practice completely not read stuff the right way. But I'm totally with you on this one, Voch. If I'm Jerry Jones as a general manager, though, I walk in there and I say, Matt, listen, okay. Run defense, man, I'm doing it. Thank you. The run defense, I'm glad we got the guy we did. But how can I help you? It's Clowney going to be enough? And if he says, yeah, Clowney's going to be enough, then I'm taking that as, okay, Clowney's going to be enough. Let's get this pass rush going again.
Aiden Hutchinson got a lot of pressure on those guys, Brian.
Yeah.
We don't have Aiden Hutchinson.
We don't.
We traded ours away and got Kenny Clark. And I love Kenny Clark.
And Kenny Clark has done a hell of a job for you. You don't have to worry about your run defense.
No.
You really don't have to worry about your run defense. But, man, if you're not going to get pressure, and the secondary's playing like it is, that could be a problem.
Yep. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us back tomorrow. We'll talk about the Cowboys offense, the bright spot versus.
It's the offense, and they're good.
Yeah. Versus this Bears defense. We'll be back till then for Voch Lombardi and Bryan Broaddus and Ambar Garcia. I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?